Good evening, my friends and frog friends. This is Steve with Real Progressives. I want to talk about the Poor People's Campaign and 40 days of moral action. And I want to talk about the immigration problem we have in the United States and the beliefs that are perpetuated throughout. It ain't just the conservatives, my friends. Dear Lord, if it were only the conservatives, my goodness, we would be okay. But we're not okay, are we? Conservatives are always going to be the conservatives. Conservatives do what conservatives do. So you think about what the conservatives do and you say, yep, wow, the conservatives are being the conservatives. Right? I mean, this is kind of the real deal, right? The conservatives are being the conservatives. But what about the progressives? What about the progressives? We posted a great video earlier, phenomenal video, about is the U.S. becoming anti-immigrant? And beyond the shadow of a doubt, the United States has really become anti-immigrant over the last, forever. We can't even talk about it just being under Trump. What they did was they took a short course of Dynabol, some short course of anabolic steroids, and shot it into the anti-immigration component in the U.S. and made it just go, wah! All of a sudden people are walking around like the Hulk, bulging neck muscles and biceps and everything because anti-immigration has gone on steroids. But it's been there for a long, long time. A long, long time. I'm going to tell you, as a guy growing up in a conservative area in my youth through my young adult life, the idea of Mexicans getting over on the system, the idea of them black folk over there getting over on the system, them standing in line, getting special things they should never get, abusing the system, right? Always there scowling, always there judging, always there pondering what they're buying with their food stamps, pondering what they're doing with all that cash, all those benefits, etc. But there's a more pervasive, uniquely xenophobic strain that's running through this. And that is the false belief that if we take care of immigrants, that we take care of these people that are somehow or another displaced in their own country or are dissidents or are in some way, shape, or form needing asylum, that we are somehow or another left to not be able to take care of our veterans, that we're not able to take care of the black communities, that we're not allowed to take care of affected communities throughout the U.S., which is preposterous. It's completely preposterous. And I want to tell you the most grueling part of this is that you've got this massive movement for the Poor People's Campaign. It is a massive, massive movement with 90% of the right ideas, and normally 90% would be an A on the test and you'd pass. You'd do great. We should all shoot for a 90% on our tests. But the problem is they stop short. Bruce Dixon of the Black Agenda Report talked about how, Reverend Barber has got this phenomenal platform. However, they stop short. Their answer at the end of all this is vote. Go out and vote. That's their answer, is vote. And what do typical communities do when they vote? These minority communities, communities that are totally shat upon and are marginalized, etc. What do? They vote Democrat. And voting Democrat would normally not be a horrible thing if it came with a demand that they actually serve the people, right? The problem is there is this blanket idea that somehow or another Democrats are the good guys. That somehow or another the word Democrat makes them the good guy. And by being that naive, by being that unwilling to ridiculously call them out and get proper progressives in office, not only are they failing their mission, but they're also stopping short one more time. They're stopping short with understanding that not only can our nation pay for those immigrants, but it can pay to fix every single minority or rural white or rural black or whatever area in the United States. Every single one of them is worth fixing. Every single one of them can be fixed now. But they go about this idea, and you'll understand this in a minute, that we are just absolutely blown away because the rich are taking our tax dollars. Because the companies are taking our tax dollars. So we don't have enough money to take care of these people. Got into a huge fight earlier. Imagine that. Imagine me getting into a huge fight. The bottom line, we got into a huge fight with this lady who comes in. See if we've heard this story before. You know, I love Bernie and all. I love him, and I'm a progressive. Here we go. But those damn illegals, those damn illegal aliens, those damn illegals. And I'm sitting there thinking, son of a bitch. Because then they followed up saying, our hard-earned tax dollars are going to pay for those goddamn immigrants. Our hard-earned tax dollars are going to pay for them to go up one better than the people in African-American communities. They have pitched this thing into an either-or. Does this make sense? Are you getting what I'm saying here? This is a really big deal. It's a really big deal what I'm saying. Because terrible, awful lies have been told to us for a very long time. People that are prone to be bigots, people that are prone to hate immigrants, people that are prone to be xenophobic, jingoistic assholes, have all the excuse in the world they need to hate them because they believe that they're entitled, that they feel entitled, that they don't do anything to deserve the entitlement, and they are deserving of nothing, and it's our tax dollars going to waste when we've got to take care of our own at home. Do you see what I am saying? The Poor People's Campaign isn't addressing this either. Do you know why? Because the Poor People's Campaign doesn't understand economics either. The leaders on that are more than happy to tell you at the end of the whole thing, go out and vote. Just go vote. It'll all be better tomorrow morning when you go out and vote. Promise, it'll all be better. Just go vote. Hey, Lisa, how are you? But that's not true, is it? We as a people, the Dem Enter crowd, God love them. They want to take on the establishment and Dem destroy. They want to go in there and they want to take over the party. I'm not here to bust their chops. You do whatever you want. I am not concerned about politics at all. I am concerned about teaching you the realm of possibility to fix these problems so that you, in whatever capacity you enjoy your politics, can go out there and make some change. I'm not here to judge your strategy. But I will tell you this. The Democrats, they don't have a clue how to spend money. They don't know what they're doing. The Green Party, just as bad. But they have all the right sensibilities, just like the Poor People's Campaign. But they don't have the right answers at the end. At the end, they're all ready to raise taxes. They want to soak the rich before they go ahead and take care of the dying poor. Before they take care of the dying poor, they want to go after the rich. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's play a game. Let's be in the desert together. We're all sitting there sweating. We're all welted up. We're all freaking jonesing for a sip of water. Just give me a freaking sip of water, God damn it. But some jackass that doesn't understand how vital water is to survival decides, well, you know what? It's all fine and well to give us water, but before we do that, we got to go get those bastards that threw us in the desert. Before we get that sip of water, we got to get those bastards in the desert. Let's go get them. And all of a sudden, before they take 3 steps, they die. And there was water right there, but damn it, they couldn't see the water because they were too focused on getting after those people that put them in the desert. You get bit by a king cobra, and you're like, son of a bitch, they put me in a pit with a king cobra, I'm going to kick their ass. Well, what about the anti-venom sitting there on the shelf? Well, fuck the anti-venom, I'm going to kick their ass. They threw me in a pit of snakes. I'm going after the sons of bitches that threw me in the pit. But you'll be dead, dude. You're going to die, you stupid bozo. You're going to die. But I got to go after those people that threw me in the pit. Time's ticking, brother. You only had 1 minute to take the anti-venom. It was right there. You said, I'd rather go ahead and chase after the people that threw me in the pit. Or better yet, you love your wife, but your wife got pregnant with some other dude's baby. And she's sitting there having complications in her pregnancy. And she's dying. You all have made amends. You all are happy and whatnot. You're ready to take it on. But damn it, right then, you say, before I help you deliver this baby, I've got to go beat your ex-boyfriend's tail end. I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait for a minute. I got to go kick his butt. And so they're going to go run off, and there she dies. The baby dies, she dies, but damn it, they got their revenge. They soaked the rich, they ate the rich, didn't they? They chased after tax dollars. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Please tell me someone's hearing what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that we keep trying to chase tax dollars to fund things that we need today, when taxes don't pay for it to begin with. And so these people despise these Mexicans, these Central American immigrants, because they think they're taking their fucking tax dollars. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not taking their tax dollars. It doesn't work that way. By the gods, Loki be gone, and you frogs, shut up. Kermit needs to chill, right? I'm telling you right now, this lady came into the thread talking about, what about our veterans? What about our veterans? They're going without. Very good question. It's not tied to immigration whatsoever, but very good question. What about our immigrants? What about our veterans? What about? Okay? But there they are, suffering. We have veterans on our team that don't get the medicine they need. Is that a real deal? Is that something to do? Is that something to do with us not having enough taxes? We didn't pay enough taxes, so we can't give you medicine. Sorry, dude. You're going to have to die because we need more tax dollars to pay for your medicine. Bullshit in the salad. Just fucking bullshit. The tax. You can't pay your tax until you have the money. Taxpayers, as Ellis Winningham say, are not the source of government dollars. The government is the source of the dollars. We could pay for every one of these immigrants, these children. We could give them homes. We could give them college. We could give them a nice life. We could go into their country and provide them resources even. But we act like we've got to hold on to it. We've got to act like this because we believe that they are taking something from our children. We believe they are taking from our children. So this Poor People's Campaign, they're going to herd them back to the Democratic Party. Fine. They're going to sit there and whisper sweet nothings in their ear about how important it is to fight for the poor people in America. And it's true. There's not one thing about what I'm saying that is not true. Every bit of that is true. But it is all funneling it back. All funneling it back to the place that has yet to step up to take care of the poor. That is yet to take care of the immigrants. Who is yet to take care of anything. In fact, you've got Manchin from West Virginia right now talking about we need Apache helicopters along the border. We got Manchin talking about how we got to get these people out of the country. We got ICE raiding family homes. We got the money for ICE. Man, ICE is paid in full, man. They got state-of-the-art equipment, and they're going in there, and they're snatching and grabbing these folks. That's a terrorist organization right there. And let me tell you something. They are fully funded. And you never once heard, hey, guys, we got to raise taxes to make those ICE people have their shit together. Never once heard that, I promise you. Oh, shit, our police departments need funding. Our schools need funding. But ICE is all that in a bag of chips, totally paid for, no problem. When you sit there and you join these groups and you join these efforts, it is so worthwhile to stop ICE. It is so worthwhile to join forces and build power outside the duopoly. It is so important to build power within the duopoly. It's so important to build collaboration. It's so important to build power, period. But if you don't understand that we can afford all these things, you might just be the one that says we've got to get these immigrants out of here. You might just be the one that gets all these poor people excited about a campaign aimed at helping them, only to find out that they're going to tell you, hey, before we can help you guys, just sorry, I got to tell you, before we can help you poor people, I know you're homeless, I know you've got no food, I know you got no clothing, you got no medicine, etc. I know all that. But before I can help you, I got to go tax the rich. Before I can help you, we got to go get some tax dollars from these rich people. Do you see how moronic that is? The U.S. government creates dollars every time it spends. Every time it taxes, it deletes them. There is no just printing more money. Money is constantly created and destroyed. It's never static. But yet, no matter how many times we say it, some bozo will come out there talking about their hard-earned tax dollars. And I am not talking about Trumpers. I am talking about frickin' Bernie-crats. I am talking about green people. I'm talking about independents. I'm talking about progressives. Not even those stinking, horrible Trumpsters. I'm talking us, our own community, saying utterly vapid and worthless shit. You see a mother, you see all these people suffering. Have you ever been to the really, really rough sections of your cities? Have you ever been to the rough sections of your cities and looked at the despair? Have you ever looked at the despair poverty breeds in rural Appalachia? Have you ever seen the fucking destruction poverty does for areas like the Rust Belt? It's worse than a nuclear bomb going off. It is destroyed and the people are living like animals. They've got no resources whatsoever. But they're going to go chase a tax dollar before they can get you your first meal. Before they can get you your first medicine for your cancer. Before they can help you with your school. Before they can do anything. They've got you so convinced they got to chase a tax dollar that they can't help you until then. So think about this. I'm watching friends join up with the People's Party. I'm watching the Poor People's Campaign. I'm watching them go to these things, fist in the air. And like any other time, you walk into the bedroom, you see this gorgeous bed, you want to lay in it, you go to put your feet in it, and you realize that it's been short-sheeted. You can't even put your feet in the damn bed because it's been short-sheeted. You go into a room, it looks like it's beautiful, you open the door and you realize it leads to nowhere. That's what this excitement does without knowing how to pay for the programs. Because the same underlying problem that created the poverty to begin with is still there. It's piss poor understanding of economics. Piss poor! Those people are going to die while you figure out how to get a tax dollar for them. Those people will suffer immeasurably while you chase tax dollars. Do you ever wonder why they had not a blink of an eye to come up with $800 billion for the military-industrial complex? $800 fucking billion without a blink of an eye. Not one worthless loser said anything about devaluing their dollar. Not one worthless loser said anything about foreign exchange. Not one worthless loser said anything about inflation. Not one worthless loser said anything about, oh, what are you going to do, just print more money? Not one worthless loser said that. They just let the military-industrial complex get whatever it wanted. Do you understand what I'm saying here? The minute we talk about taking care of immigrants, the minute we talk about taking care of our poor communities, the minute we talk about a job guarantee, the first thing some doofus says is, what about devaluing my dollar? What about the foreign exchange? Oh, you don't know anything about economics. You go read a book. Go read a book. Dude, I've got an MBA and I've taken more fucking school than you will ever fucking know. And I had to unlearn it and relearn it the right way. And now I'm here to tell you, as a friend, as someone that cares, as someone that's part of the gang, a regular dude, I'm telling you, we can afford this stuff, and we need to stop these goddamn Bernie-crats, and these goddamn Greens, and these goddamn Democrats, and these freaking progressives, and these friggin' liberals that think we got a tax to spend. These frickin' Jill Steins of the world, these frickin' Hillary Clintons of the world, these frickin' Bernie Sanders even, Robert Reich, Paul the Loser Krugman, Simon Wren, I'm a jerk-off Lewis, and all the other friggin' establishment economists that say whatever you want to hear. Yeah, we're going to have to raise taxes to pay for that. It's going to be very important that we raise taxes to pay for that. Those children that are in cages, they're in cages because of the people that said, we got to raise taxes to pay for things. What about tax dollars? What about tax dollars? What about the petrodollar? Oh my God. What about the BRICS? Oh my God, what about the next economic collapse? Folks, I'm telling you right now, this bullshit has got to end. And it takes you caring enough to make it end. It takes you caring enough to make it end. And it takes a hell of a lot more than 60 people on a live stream to make it end. It takes all of us going to the schools and talking about how we can afford to revitalize our cities, about how we can afford to take care of our rural communities. Think about this. If you're a poor person in the rural community, where's your mass transit? Where is any way to get to and from a hospital? How far away is the nearest hospital? Is it friggin' 20 barns down the road, 4 hollers up the road, or is it friggin' 2 zip codes down the road? I don't know. Is it through the mountains? I don't know. Is it accessible by foot, by bike? People in rural America lead a very brutal existence. And they've grown to distrust our government. And there's a reason for that. Our government hasn't stepped up. So when you see these folks coming into the United States and they're getting jacked into a bus and they're getting put in detention internment camps, it's because we believe that there's not enough to go around, which is a lie. How many keystrokes does it take to run out of keystrokes, my friends? How many keystrokes are worth a person's life? How many keystrokes are worth people dying? This is not an arbitrary discussion. This is a very pointed discussion. And it will keep happening over and over and over again until people wake up and realize that our dollar is a sovereign fiat currency. It's not a gold standard. There is no printing more money makes inflation. That's gold standard logic. Gold, we had a pool of gold. We print a certain amount of money, it's worth the sliver of gold. We print more money, it devalues the dollar. We don't have that anymore. That's not how it works. Grow a brain. There is nothing but the tax that backs our dollar. The full faith and credit of the United States government that backs the dollar. That's us. We back the dollar. The natural resources of our country back the dollar. There is no petrodollar. There is no gold standard. There is no nothing. Just like Australia. Just like Japan. Just like the UK. Just like Canada. Just like China. And just like Russia. There is no petrodollar that we're pegged to. The solution is we, the people, demand that they stop lying. Every single time you hear Lee Camp talk about the petrodollar, tell him. Every time you hear Jimmy Dore talk about the petrodollar, tell him. Every time you hear Nico House ramble on about the petrodollar, tell him. Every time you see Abby Martin talk about the petrodollar, tell her. Every time you see another one of these people glaze over and talk about raising taxes, tell them. Get on their broadcasts and tell them. Every time you go to a rally, hold a sign saying taxes don't fund spending. Every rally, we should be seeing signs everywhere telling people, hey, learn MMT. They won't know what it is, that's okay, but it'll make them look it up. Make them ask questions and be ready to give an answer for the hope that lies within. The people are desperate. These people coming in this country are desperate. The poor people of America are desperate. And by poor, I mean the 99%. I'm not just talking about the gutter poor. I'm talking about every one of us is poor compared to these wealthy plutocrats, the oligarchs, all of this, that they're siphoning the national income into their pockets instead of us spending it on the people. You have blood on your hands. I have blood on my hands. I'm trying to redeem the time. I'm trying to fix my past mistakes by making sure you all know the truth. You need to feel the same. You should feel guilt, tremendous shame for talking about taxpayer dollars. You should feel shame and fix it. Each one teach one. Go out there and make sure your congressman knows. Make sure these candidates know. Stand in their town halls and demand they accept that federal taxes don't fund spending, that FICA doesn't fund Social Security, that it can't go broke ever. Make sure you demand they tell the truth. Sorry, I'm sick as a dog if you can't tell. But I felt like I needed to go forward with this live stream. When you see good people have all the right ideas and they're just missing this one piece, how to pay for it, it should really, really get you to understand that we're that close to winning. We're that close to winning. That close. But this permanent brain stain that we have that tells us it's federal taxes that pay for this stuff is pervasive. Milton Friedman back in the 70s taught us all, hey, if we print more money, it'll cause inflation. And people, no matter how many times you tell them it's not true, that even in his deathbed he said, hey, quantity theory of money is not true. Okay? Even though you tell them that, they will come back at you 1,000 times out of 1,000 and tell you, what are you going to do, print more money? You going to print more money? What about inflation? What about inflation? You don't hear them talk about what about people dying. Maybe it's because they're a parasite. Maybe it's because they are a parasite. They're like a split-fingered waste person. What's it going to cause inflation? Tula, what? You don't know shit about... Y'all remember Meet the Parents where Ben Stiller's sitting there talking to the camera to Robert De Niro? He's like, Jack, what Tula, what? You don't know shit about flowers, Jack? What can you do with that? That would have been a good way to end the live stream, right? But right there, this is what you're dealing with, folks. Full cups. I tell people about this stuff, and you know what they say? Worthlessly say. They say, I don't have time for all these theories. It's just a theory. And I'm like, oh, really? Oh, really? So functional finance from Abba Lerner is just a theory. And the theory of gravity is just a theory. Go ahead and throw an apple up in the air and see if it doesn't hit you in the head. It's just a theory. It's just a theory. Hey, Chachi, it's just a theory. If I could get on top of the top turnbuckle, call it the roof of my house, break out an elbow, drop that son of a bitch, that big elbow of truth that has been missing for a long, long time. If I could drop the elbow of truth on every one of these sons of bitches that talks about their hard-earned tax dollars, or the FICA, that Social Security's going broke and we got to privatize it because, you know, my hard-earned Social Security dollars have been collected. I got this piece of paper. This piece of paper tells me. That piece of paper is nothing but an accounting tool. It tells you how much you paid. But guess what? All federal taxes are purged. They do their life. They're spent into existence. And then when they come back, they're paid as a tax. They're deleted. They've extinguished their job. They've done their job and they're gone. The next time the government creates a new dollar will be the next time they send your Social Security check out to you. The next time it gets sent out, new dollars are created. The next time you pay it in taxes, they're deleted. This is a circuit. It should be so simple to understand, yet people fight me like I'm saying, yeah, just print more money. Yeah, just print it, man. That's not what anyone's saying. Nothing is ever printed. And those immigrants, those kids you care so much about, are suffering because you believe that we got to raise taxes to pay for stuff. Because you... See, I don't look at the Republicans. Do you know why? Because I'm not expecting them to care about this. They've never whispered in my ear, give me a wet willy, and said that they want to take care of immigrants. They want to give free college. They've never once told me that they're for health care as a right. They've never, ever, ever told me that they want to make voting more inclusive for minorities. They've never told me that they care about poor people. They've never told me any of that stuff. But damn it if the Democrats and Greens haven't. Progressives have. And when they don't do better, I climb the top turnbuckle and I drop the elbow of truth. My friends get smacked more than my enemies because I demand better from my friends. Demand better from my friends. And for anybody that's wondering, I have laryngitis right now. I'm trying my best to do this. So yeah, I probably won't quit my day job to sing. But I was an all-state baritone, so you can eat that shit down, right? Anyway. The next thing, and this is the final thing before we close out. You got people that are running for office today, right now, that have an ability and a chance to change the world. This new crop of people running for office has the opportunity to change the world with our help. And I'm not talking about voting. You vote, you do whatever you want. This is me talking about educating. This is me talking about each one teach one. You have the ability to give them the air cover. You have the ability to give them the tools to be effective at their job, and then hold them accountable. We all have that responsibility. Whether you vote for them, whether you don't vote for them, whether they're Republican, whether they're Democrat, whether they're LOL Libertarian, whether they're Greens, whether they're a new third party, Movement for a People's Party, or whether it's PIP or Socialist Alternative or any of them. Every single one of these individuals owes it to you, the people, to those immigrants, to those children, to the poor, to our nation, to stop lying and saying that federal taxes pay for spending, and to start championing the truth so that we can save lives today. So we can afford green energy to stop these wars for oil. Do you understand that the Poor People's Campaign is supposed to be blocking putting those poor people in the wars that the rich man wages? And yet, the one thing that would prevent it, sustainable, renewable green energy, we cannot get funded because we want to tax them with a carbon tax. We want to tax them for everything. We want to chase after corporations when in reality, ask yourself, I'm dying in the desert. I need a glass of water. There's a glass of water right there, but I'd rather chase after the corporation to get tax dollars. That's how stupid this is. You do whatever it takes to survive, and that might mean drinking that glass of water before you chase after a tax dollar. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's about goddamn time that every one of those groups I listed, every one of those names I listed, stops peddling lies, stops lying about how money is created, stops lying about all the bullshit. You know why banksters are so crazy? Banksters are crazy because our Congress refuses to do its job. Because the people think it's the banksters. But it is Congress failing to do its job of regulating them. Where is a modern Glass-Steagall? Where is anything to contain the banks? Where is anything to do that? It doesn't require a new system. It requires a goddamn Congress to do its job. And it requires you and me to do our job as civic-minded people with a brain and understand economics. If you don't understand this stuff, if you refuse to learn this stuff, and you keep peddling the myths and legends and the lies from the fire pit, all the cool people, you know, the coolios that sit there and talk about the banksters. Well, banksters are greedy sons of bitches, but guess what? They're usually pretty wimpy. If Congress slaps a law on them and regulates them, there's friggin' nerds that sit there and deal in securities and stuff are going to have to figure out a new way to make money. And they will. That's the way it works. They always try and find the edge. So you've got to regulate. Stop looking at the perps. Start looking at the people with the power to regulate them and focus your ire there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Our Congress is who you need to be really after. If Congress does its job, everything else like a domino falls. Immigration falls. Free college falls. Medicare for all falls. Better, National Health Service with dental included falls. Wars stop. Green energy begins. Oil stays in the ground. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? You keep focusing on these little things. Oh, that bigot said this. Oh, this other person said that. Focus on who has the keys to the car, and that is Congress. Article 1, Section 8, Rocco Million. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says we got to spend on the people. Let's do it. You guys, your job, when we leave here tonight, your action item is to go out and make disciples, to train people, to bring them in, to teach them how economics works so that we can change the fucking world. One person at a time. And watch that thing grow and grow and grow until all of a sudden every friggin' naysayer is a part of the team. They join forces with us and they help us. But right here, right now, your job is to go out there and teach them. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Tomorrow night, I have Fidel Kaboob on with me. Then after that, you got Jeff Epstein in his very first live stream with Real Progressives. And then also, for those of you who've been wondering when Steve and Ellis would get back together, I said this before, I'll say it again. We're getting ready to fire up a podcast that we need your support for. It's going to be called Macro and Cheese. And we're going to be kicking ass, taking names, and having a jolly good time. And it's not going to just be U.S. based. It's going to be all around the world. We're going to kill neoliberalism one listener at a time. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives. Thank you, Real Progressives, for joining me tonight. Keep joining us. We'll talk soon. Have a good night, everybody.